Hi, welcome to another video from Exit Strategy. Please like, subscribe, share the video, give a thumbs up if you found it helpful, and pass it on if you believe someone else would benefit from it. I would appreciate that. Guys, I always put these on crooked. I don't wear glasses. These are just cheaters. I think I've mentioned that before. I don't believe in our lifetime as awakened empaths that we will encounter another awakened empath who understands narcissists and converses about narcissists in the way that you and I do. Now, hear me well. I'm not talking about becoming acquainted or knowing of someone who's awakened like you and I are, because we know someone like that. Here on this channel, a lot of us are awakened, and I have a friend who's awakened. And it's not just a belief, based on certain intensities of how we talk about this and the stages in which we are in our awakenness, yet still going through the ups and downs, getting duped, because this is a learning curve. But the more we're vibrating, the more we're elevating, isolating, and getting this education, it is becoming harder and harder for a narcissist to pull the wool over our eyes. Now, what I'm talking about specifically, you may very well, in fact, go through your whole life, remaining part of your life on this earth, and never run into another awakened empath such as yourself, in the way that you are awakened, in the way that you know, converse, understand, and express about a narcissist. There are a lot of people you might have run into that can rattle off that word. They can give you a few over-the-top descriptions of them. But the depth of what they know and how they know it, you very well could go through the rest of your life being an awakened empath, a loner, in the way that you know what you know. Because I've never encountered another individual in my immediate vicinity, meaning where I live, in my area, randomly. Here in this forum, we know of a lot of each other who are awakened, who have experienced that, but that's not what I'm talking about. If you have met an awakened empath, much like yourself, in your vicinity, in which you've been able to have a dialogue, not a depth to the utmost degree, but with a fair amount of depth. I hope I'm capturing the essence of what I'm saying here. And I got thinking about this. This is the way God would have it. And I believe I understand why. It may be a theory of mine, but I'm okay with that. And I hope it makes sense to you guys. And I hope it helps someone understand that this loneliness and this feeling like you're all by yourself in this sometimes, that's not a bad feeling. Because what that does is that's equipping you to understand, if nobody else is for you, you are for yourself. And God is for you. And there's another reason I believe God has allowed this to be the way it is, because he does not want to risk any of us defecting. He's equipping you by yourself, for his grace, mercy, and for his kingdom. He's equipping you to finish the task in which he's equipped you with. You may not feel that or sense that right now, But that is my theory on that. Makes perfect sense to me, to the point where I understand it a little bit better. It is not about anyone else. It's about you. You were awakened by the hand of God as a result of the narcissist's intense abuse, demonic destruction of you, destroying of you, breaking you down. And God intervened and stepped in and built you back up. Nothing short of the hand of God. And there are none of us who are awakened that can really give credit to anyone outside of God for awakening us. That's another phenomenon. It is not like someone told us about this and we went straight for educating ourselves and elevating our vibration. We didn't just go right to class and start studying this. We went through phases of the disconnect, coming to accept the fact that what we had lived through and the person that we had lived with, it was all fake. It was a facade. It was a mirage. And so that took some time from that point of realizing that to where we are now. And we're not done. We are forever trying to increase our intuition, our vibration, our insight, education of knowing what these people are, the ins and the outs, because there are layers of these people. Their whole manipulation is very carefully and systematically weaved into society in a way where a lot of the behavior that they exhibit is accepted as normal in society. One case in point, when they offend you, you'll have 5 people saying, they didn't mean it that way. You can't take a joke. And here you are awakened and in tune. You don't see anything funny about it. Not only that you don't see anything funny about it, you see inside of that person. As an empath, you see beyond the joke. You see the depth of their demon when nobody else has a clue. They see the surface. You see beneath the surface. So this is why you'll have these people cheerleading for the narcissist. Because God has given you eyes to see with and ears to hear, unlike any other human being on planet Earth, when you come to know and understand that narcissists are demons in human flesh. Not many people know that. They don't give them that credit that they're justly due. People can give you the academics of what they are, and they can pat themselves on the back, knowing that they know how to rattle off the terms of what they are, the behaviors of what they are. And it's all just a lot of verbal mumbo jumbo, whereas their ego is on the line because they think they know something about something. Awakened empath, we may know a few things about a few things, but under no uncertain terms are we ego tripping. We know that the house is on fire and it's not salvageable. And for that reason, we take this serious. Every now and again, we'll get a hearty laugh out of it because these are just some bumbling buffoons, the way that they come out and try to just sabotage people's lives, the games they play on you. And they're little kids, man. They're mentally retarded, mentally retarded. And it's funny how society tried to pretty much abolish that word to call people mentally retarded. When I was going to school, we used that word mentally retarded, and it was a proper word to describe that person in the sense they were mentally retarded. It wasn't to no fault of their own. And just like the handicap symbol, it is supposed to have paid homage to handicapped people. And then they put the symbol of the handicapped person in the wheelchair almost as like they're running sprints. This is a subtle way of patronizing people. And to those handicapped people, they pretty much felt like society, the powers that be that came up with that idea, were paying homage to them. I beg to differ. I don't think handicapped people needed homage paid to them. They were fined, realizing that they were handicapped. And it's the funny thing about that, though. Now that they've rebranded the symbol and you don't use the word mental retardation and different things like that, I found that a lot of people with mental health issues, is the way that they say it now, mental health, they can rattle off their mental health diagnosis like nobody's business. They're pretty much comfortable talking about it anywhere and everywhere. But at the same time, they're depressed, but they're talking about it in an open way as to where society has given the illusion that most of the people should care. Like, see something, say something, check in on people. And a lot of these narcissists have capitalized on this. I get the part about when people are going through depression. It is good to educate yourself on the science. I understand that. But it's very rare when a person is going through what you believe is a suicidal stage or state, that there is a lot that anyone going to be able to do to intercept that. You may or may not in many instances, but if a person is just hell bent on doing something to themselves, they're not going to display anything. They're not going to make it visible to you. How do you help in that situation? You can educate yourself. That is all you can do. And so much like the narcissist, knowing what we know about it on the surface, that's not enough. Because a narcissist is hell bent on doing what they damn well please. But an awakened empath, we can anticipate what they're going to do at any given moment, just by the fact that we know how they move. They all move in the same way. And it's real fundamentals. It's basic fundamentals with them. But when you get beyond the basic fundamentals of them, you still have to pretty much keep your head on a swivel, because you have to be guarded as to when they push up on you with this overly kind introductions, these overly over the top, getting into your circle with no heads up, just coming out of the blue. And these are, in times past, we would be receptive to people just coming up on us being overly kind, and we would reciprocate kindness back. Now, awakened, we don't have to be rude, but what we do have to be is to be reserved. Reserved. A little more reservation as an awakened empath will save your life. It will save your life from a narcissist. And believe it or not, the more reserved you are, the more nervous they get, because that's not the anticipated reaction that they're looking for. And so when you're awakened and in tune, narcissists almost detect that something is wrong and they abort mission, which is by God's design. When you stay aware and awake and in tune, that is by design for a narcissist to move around. And so there is rarely not rarely, there is a strong possibility that you may go through your whole life and not have anyone awakened in your immediate vicinity that will just relate to this abuse and this disorder like you and I. And we're talking just randomly. I haven't in 6 years. I haven't. And of course, as an awakened empath, I don't share in a way where I believe in an awakened empath. If in fact I have crossed paths with one and just didn't know it, I don't share openly and outwardly to the point where it would be just someone, an awakened empath would hear me doting on a conversation or hear me talking about narcissistic personality disorder and then just right away come in and almost finish my sentences. So that is a reason why that is a very slim possibility of it happening too. But I just do believe if it was to be a possibility, I think what God would ordain that meeting. He would ordain that meeting of the minds. And I just believe we probably crossed paths with awakened empaths and just didn't know it. And I believe God is allowed us to be pretty much under the radar, whereas it pertains to one awakened empath to another. If that makes any sense, because I believe he's recruiting us and spreading us around to his desired positions in this world so we can make that difference. And so if for nothing else, just our presence is what's going to eradicate narcissists from having their way with these unsuspected victims that would normally be taken under the realm of the narcissist. He's putting us in place. We are the watchmen. We are the guardians. We are the gatekeepers for those who the narcissist in times past would have full reign to abuse and destroy. And I think he's equipped and awakened empaths such as us to stand our post. Just some stuff I got thinking about. I hope this all makes sense to you guys. In the loneliness and sometimes the emptiness and feeling like you're just all by yourself, that is something that I think God has done on purpose. And plus, he wants you to focus on keeping your eye on the prize, because no distractions are allowed, because it's just that type of time we're living in. He's getting ready to wrap things up. I don't know when, how he's going to do it, but I just sense it. He's about to wrap things up. Any given day, any given moment. And days to him are not measured like our days. So I could say days, it could be in an instant, in a twinkling of the eye. I just want to be doing what God wants me to do when he does, do the curtain call. Because he didn't wake us up for no good reason. He woke us up for good reason. He woke us up because he knows more than we do. He knows better than we do that demonic overthrow is at full throttle. So many lives have been destroyed. We thought alcohol and drugs were destroying a lot of people and taking a lot of people's lives. But I believe narcissistic abuse, hands down, is doing that collectively. Not collectively, but independently, versus all of these other things collectively put together. Because if you might find a person who has an addiction to one thing or another, look hard and deep and see and observe as you're awakened now. Just look into those family members that have these addicted, drug addicted and chemical dependency family members, and just observe and see if you see a narcissist in that family dynamic. And I guarantee you're probably going to see a narcissist that is driven that person down to the point where they've resorted to alcohol, drugs, and all kinds of different illicit things to numb their pains. And this is how they operate. They will have a family member that's strung out on drugs, and they'll just be demonizing that child, and you knowing that child, who's probably an adult now, was bright, and you're perplexed. Like, I don't know why Susan, she was so good at everything. And Susan can't put it together. She can't put her finger on the fact that mom, her narcissistic mom, is the one that's drove her to a point of insanity. Boy, if it was a law and it was a camera, you could run back and just see the whole shit show of the narcissist in the family, systematically destroying this one or that one, and be held criminally responsible. You wouldn't have room to house all of these demons that have destroyed their family members. But there's no need for the physical prisons. The narcissist is in a mental, psychological prison of their own making. And they want to take everybody else down with them. We understand this, so we're not bothered. #unbothered. That being said, blessed.